Well, here we are. Here's the seaplane, and we are getting ready to go. Some cute little steps we get to go up, and we're ready for action. All right, outdoorsmen, we made it to Fort Jefferson and dry Tortuga National Park. So there's the plane we came in on. There's my best friend, and she was a trooper on that plane ride. It was a little bumpy, and she handled it with grace and style. So we're gonna go ahead and head on into the fort and get our visitor stamp, and then enjoy a little breakfast and explore. Come along. All right, here is Fort Jefferson. We'll actually get to see the whole national park sign here. It is a part of Dry Tortugas National Park. Fort has a lighthouse and a massive courtyard. We're going to hit the visitor center, and then we're going to go on up to get to the top. Here you can see that although it looks like a square opening, there are angled edges that would have allowed the soldiers to choose their angle to shoot while minimizing their exposure to any enemies that would be trying to attack the fort. Off in the distance, you can see one of the massive cannons. We'll go over and take a look at that here in just a minute. Here you can see the moat that goes around the entire fort that would have aided in security of this building. And the thousands of those. I mean, that's the Here is a large detached magazine where they would have stored much of the ammunition. Number one, to keep it dry, the powder, and number two, so that if there was a problem and there was an explosion, that it wouldn't totally ruin the walls of the fort. All right, we're gonna go up and check out the lighthouse. light would not have existed back in the 1800s. But it wouldn't have taken long to have seen a little better. Guess they don't want you going up that way. And we're up onto a second level. Ah. And if we go this way, we get to see Dr. Mudd's cell. Was where Dr. Mudd, who set John Wilkes Booth's leg, was serving part of his life sentence until he was finally commuted. So, interesting to see how sparse the lifestyle was. The rest of the way up. The spiral staircases are a pretty cool effect. Brings us right out to one of the massive cannons. Seeing some additional wildlife. There's a little hermit crab. His shell. He is going to take his shell and go elsewhere. It's very windy, but it gives a very of the entire fort. Here on the drive to Tortugas, they even have beaver tail cactus. I saw some earlier, so I definitely wanted to get it. Distance there's a lighthouse that is still in use today. Some of it would have gotten a little dark, but not too bad. Yes. This building, they would have had a firebox down here at the bottom, and they would have loaded cannonballs at the top, and then they would have come out down here. They would have taken them once they were hot, hustled them up to the various cannons and mortars, and then launched them at opposing wooden ships. The devastation would have been incredible. Let's go see what the bakery had to offer. This is where the bakery would have been, and you can still see some of the smoke remaining. It was a massive oven here with a chimney that went up right there. Standing in the center board gives you an interesting perspective of just how big this complex is. There was a time when along this wall there were homes for the officers. But it was interesting to see the frigate birds just riding the air currents, almost staying perfectly still. There's some housing that is still being used. Rangers are staying there. Who actually stays there? I believe that's a cistern, but I'll need to do some checking. Before things get too busy here, I'm going to Haviland Otter seaplane we came. That was the one we came in, and the yellow one here in the background. So literally, aside from the campers, we're the first people on the island today. Where we understand now how they power the island, they have diesel generators, and the remote walk goes the whole way around. We should have come over here and gone snorkeling, and then we could have enjoyed it a little better with more people. Lesson learned. It's all ocean exposure, but this is definitely exposed. All right, outdoorsmen, wrapping up the trip to Fort Jefferson and visiting Dry Tortugas National Park. We had a phenomenal time there, learned a lot. The cisterns that originally were designed to hold water definitely had saltwater infiltration. Probably would have been better to keep them on the first floor as opposed to on the ground where salt water could have gotten in. And it was amazing to see all of the work that went in to building a fort that ultimately really was never completed. It is the single biggest brick building in the entire northern hemisphere. So it covered almost 14 acres as far as the outside perimeter, and the parade grounds were something that I hope you really enjoyed seeing, as well as the other infrastructure, including the mortars and cannons that were up on top. We had a fabulous time there, and certainly hope you enjoyed getting outdoors with us today. And until next time, as always, get outdoors.